Hi there, this is Teresa Eicher with Counseling and Wellness Services. We are in partnership with Jill Holgrave Wellness Consulting, and I hope this video finds you well today. We have had a little bit of a string of nice weather out there, and it has been so nice. And I'm not sure about you, but I definitely noticed that there's a bit of a boost to my mood, a little spring in my step, and just, feeling grateful to have some sunshine and some warmer temperatures and just the opportunity to be outside. I think sometimes as we navigate our way out of winter and move into spring months, we might just reflect back a little bit and think, oh, wow, like I'm not sure that I understood that my mood day to day was being impacted as much as it actually was. Or I realized that maybe I was dealing with some bouts of sadness here and there. And I don't think it just has to be in the winter where we might deal with that or struggle with that. It is a degree of natural to notice fluctuations in our mood and just moments where we might be sad or mad or frustrated. When we're born, we're given the ability to feel all of our emotions. And so we are intended to feel all of our emotions. It's really more culture that kind of teaches us that we need to stay in the happy realm of things. But I recognize that, some of the harder emotions, maybe sadness, frustration, anxiety, worry, anger, we obviously don't want to sit in that for too long. And so just wanted to, talk with you a little bit about what are some natural things that you can do to boost your mood. So some of it is, just how we approach our day and our mindset. And so if I'm waking up and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I have to get out of bed today. Ugh, what's on my schedule? Oh, I dread that, right? Like, what's the point? Like, why get up? Why get myself around? When we're kind of dealing with that lack of motivation, when we're dealing with that just, more negative attitude, as best as we can, we're certainly not going to be perfect in it, but I always say, progression, not perfection. But as best as we can, if we can kind of like shift that mindset a bit and say, okay, there's got to be something in my day today that I am looking forward to, mildly excited about, or at minimum, grateful for. So, what is it that is in my day today that I can look forward to and feel a sense of gratitude in that? And so, even just that minor pivot of what can I find in my day that I really enjoy, to that from, oh, I dread everything in my schedule today. I don't want to do this. That minor shift can just, really make a huge difference in how we approach our day. A lot of times too, if we can kind of, on those harder days, dress for success, so to speak, that might be the day where maybe you don't dress up every day for work, but that might be the day where we wear something a little bit nicer, right? Maybe you might not, put on makeup every day, but maybe we put a little bit of makeup on that day, or we do our hair a little bit differently. But just kind of change things up. Believe it or not, just simply wearing the part sometimes can make a huge shift in our mood for that day. So, get out of your PJs, put on something nice, take a shower, put on some makeup, do your hair, just, doing something that helps us to physically look better can absolutely shift us and help us to feel mentally better. When we look at natural mood boosters, we also look at things like movement and exercise. And I think a lot of times most people think that, in order to have a boost in mood, we somehow need to do very rigorous exercise. When I think about something like the runner's high, right? Like that oftentimes comes from like rigorous running. And yet, we also find that when we do really rigorous exercise, it can actually really stimulate and kick up our nervous system. And we can actually put our body in more of a level of distress that what then might be good for our body. So, I don't think exercise has to necessarily be super rigorous. I don't think movement needs to be for really, really long periods of time. Um, you know, on your lunch break, going outside, walking around a little bit, just taking in nature, doing some jumping jacks at a free point in our day. It might sound silly, but again, it doesn't need to be like we don't need to be moving mountains as we do it. And so maybe just taking a look at, okay, like I'm not feeling great today. How can I just get a little bit more movement in and just kind of naturally help my body boost its mood here? Sometimes I find that people really enjoy like aromatherapy or different scents. I want you to maybe think in your head of just what vanilla smells like right now. I think a lot of people can kind of naturally like think about that and be able to experience that a little bit. Or I don't know, my grandma used to make a lot of cookies. And so I can still remember like walking into her house and smelling, chocolate chip cookies. And so we kind of go back to these associations and these memories that we have with these natural scents. And we get the association of the memory, right? But B, just inhaling and taking that scent in kind of perks us up a little bit differently. I think about lavender, and every time I smell lavender, I just kind of have like a sense of peace, a sense of calm come over me because it's naturally calming. And so, keeping that type of stuff available to us, where it's like, if I feel my mood dipping at a certain point in the day, or I feel stress coming over me at a certain point in the day, like just having that available, inhale it a little bit and just allow yourself to sit in that. I think too, we are just relationship people and we need connection. And so I think during times where our mood may not be great or we might be struggling in our day, just reaching out to someone and sharing that with them. Letting them know, like, what, today is hard for me, and I'm really just doing my best to navigate it. And maybe I need a little bit of encouragement, or I need a little bit of help, or maybe even if you had time to just connect with me later, go on a walk, or I can come over. But certainly, we see that the more connected people feel, the less isolation they experience, we definitely notice the mood improves. So my hope is that maybe you might try one or two of these and just kind of use them at your leisure and as needed. But that you might also just experience the benefit of some mood improvement as maybe you navigate some of those harder days. Have a great weekend.